Okay, boys and girls, today's activity is called sink or float. What do you think that means? Well, we have a sign that says float, and then we have a sign that says sink, and then we have a bowl of water. And then I want you to find things around your house that you play with or you might can use to put in water that won't hurt it. And we're going to do an experiment. We're also going to try to make guesses before we put the item in the bowl. And another word for guesses is like prediction. We're going to think about this and make guesses before we put them in the bowl to see if they're going to sink. And sink means they're going to go under the water and go to the bottom of the bowl. And then float means they're going to stay up on top of the water. So let's get started. I have a golf ball, a green golf ball, and it's kind of heavy. So do you think this is going to sink or you think it's going to float? That's a good guess. Let's see. You were right. It did. It sunk. It went to the bottom of the bowl in the water. So that one, when we pull it out, will be going under the pile sink because it went to the bottom of the bowl. Now, let's try this bead. See this red bead? Let's try it. What do you think? Sink or float? Ooh, see, it stayed on top. So it's floating. It's floating on top of the water. So we are going to put this one under float. Now, friends, let's see about this Hot Wheel car. You see this purple Hot Wheel car? What do you think it's going to do? Sink or float? That's right, boys. Let's see if you're right. Y'all were. It sunk to the bottom of the bowl. So that one goes under sink because it goes under because it's heavy. So we're going to put sink right here. The car right here. What about this rubber band or this feather? What do y'all think is going to happen? Sink or float? That's a great guess. Let's see. Drop it in the water. And it's floating. It's staying on top of the water. So that's called floating. So our rubber band and our feather will go on float. The float side. Now, what about our Gecko and Owlette toys? Do you think they will sink or will they float? Let's see. Drop them in the water. And they sunk to the bottom. So they sink. They sink. So we'll pull them out. And we'll put them over here with our sink pile. Now, let's look at this puffball. What do you think what will happen? Do you think it will sink or float? You think so? Let's see. You're exactly right. It's floating. But look at this one. As it gets wet, it's starting to sink to the bottom. Not all the way yet, but if it got all the way wet, it would sink to the bottom. So that one can almost go in the middle because if it's dry, it's going to float. If it gets wet, it's going to sink. Now, let's see here. What about a quarter and a marble? What do you think will happen? Let's think about it. What do you think? Okay, let's see. Wow, they went to the bottom quick. So they sink. So we're going to put them with sink. Now, boys and girls, I have plenty more items we can use. You don't have to find this many at home. Just find a few things. The heavier items are going to sink to the bottom. The lighter items are going to float to the top. But we want to see pictures and video of y'all doing our fun activity called Sink and Float. Have fun!